This one's a bit of an odd one, but I think it's worth talking about.
Marketing explained using everyday language. From LA to Europe, I've done creative, consulting, and lecturing. My name is Andrea Luminati, and this is what I've learned so far.
Today I want to talk about the ego. Ego being that part of a personality that oftentimes gets in the way of us being able to produce good marketing communications, campaigns, and or materials. The ego, again, is that part of our personality that stops us from being able to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and maybe understand or accept other people's opinions and or points of view. This affects not just the marketing communications professional who's trying to create a campaign, but oftentimes it also affects the actual client, the president or the manager who counts on us to create campaigns, and their inability to be able to see their product or what they've got to offer through the eyes of somebody else. Our mission here is pretty clear and pretty simple. We need to A, create messages that will resonate with the target audience, and B, we need to select the appropriate media to make sure these messages get delivered to the target audience. Anything else that gets mixed into this equation is counterproductive and superfluous and needs to be omitted. The ego plays an ugly trick on us because it makes us think that our point of view is universal. Whereas if you want to be a good marketing communications professional, one of the first things you need to learn is to disengage your ego completely so that your tastes, your likes and dislikes are no longer relevant, because the only thing that matters is what the target audience perceives as being relevant or not. So in our quest to create effective messages and to choose the appropriate media to deliver these messages to the target audience, it is of paramount importance that we learn to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, that is, to project ourselves into our target audience's head and see the world and especially the product as they do. I am convinced that effective marketing communications professionals are as transparent as possible. And by that I mean that we will bring our professional perspective, that is our know-how, into the equation, but we will not bring our personal perspective, we will not bring our likes or dislikes, because they're no longer relevant. All that we care about is what the target audience perceives as being good or bad, interesting or not interesting. So in a nutshell, we need to be here professionally, but we don't need to get in the way of the communication. Understanding and accepting the true meaning of effective is also very important and very difficult for people taking their first steps into the marketing communications field. Effective is just that, something that works and creates results. And sometimes effective is not pretty, it's not groundbreaking, and it's not creative. It'll happen often that you'll be faced with alternatives, different ideas for a campaign, and one will be very creative, very groundbreaking, and very ego gratifying. Whereas maybe you'll come up with something that is way more direct and unfortunately way more effective. So as your ego will push you towards looking for a solution that will make people recognize your talent and your creativity, your professional ethics should always push you towards the one solution that is going to get the results for the client, because that is what the client is paying you for, to get results. If you have a fragile ego and you hate to be criticized, or you have a hungry ego that needs to be recognized and who just craves praise, then you're going to have a tough time in this field, because your ego is going to get battered around a lot. So my advice to you is to find yourself a hobby that allows you to feed your ego outside of the office. What has worked for me since I was 16 years old is this, and this allows me to be as creative as I want to be, to feed my ego, and to be free and accept no compromises outside of the office, so that once I walk in here, I can just focus on being a marketing communications professional, completely focused on my clients' objectives and needs and not on my own. My name is Andrea Luminati. I've been doing marketing since 1984, and this is what I've learned so far.